In the arid caves of Qumran, nestled among the Dead Sea Scrolls, a text was unearthed that would challenge the very foundations of Western religion. It wasn't just another historical document, it was a ghost from a forgotten age of faith. This text was quoted by Jesus, referenced by his brother Jude, and cited by the Apostle Peter. For the first 3 centuries of Christianity, it was widely accepted and revered, considered by many to be sacred scripture, a vital piece of the divine puzzle. But then, as the church solidified its power and began to standardize its beliefs, this book became a problem. Its radical ideas were deemed too disruptive, too dangerous for the burgeoning orthodoxy. And so, it vanished. Not by accident, but by design. It was excised from the canon, banned by councils, and systematically hidden away. For over 1,600 years, it was lost to the Western world. A whisper in the footnotes of theological history. That is, until the 18th century, when explorers rediscovered a complete version, preserved for millennia, not in Rome or Jerusalem, but in the ancient churches of Ethiopia. This raises a profound question. Why was the Book of Enoch so threatening to the early church authorities? What secrets did it hold that they were so desperate to suppress? The answer is as terrifying as it is fascinating. The book reveals an alternate history of our world, one that directly contradicts the narrative we've been told. It speaks of a time before the Great Flood, a world populated by more than just humans. It describes a rebellion in the heavens, where celestial beings known as the Watchers descended to Earth, creating forbidden genetic hybrids with humanity. It details a cosmic war that didn't end in antiquity but continues to echo through the ages. This isn't just a story, it's a cosmology, a warning, and a prophecy. Today, we pull this forbidden text from the shadows and into the light. We are peeling back the layers of suppression to uncover the shocking, world-altering secrets of the banned Book of Enoch. The biblical book of Genesis offers a cryptic 4-verse account of the sons of God descending to earth. It's a passage that has puzzled theologians for millennia, raising more questions than it answers. Who were these beings, and what was their purpose? While the Bible remains largely silent, the Forbidden Book of Enoch provides a full, terrifying, and astonishingly detailed report. It claims to pull back the curtain on one of the most significant events in prehistory, an event that would forever alter the course of humanity. According to Enoch, this was no divine mission. It was a rebellion born of desire. 200 high-ranking angels, a celestial leadership class known as the Watchers, grew to lust after the daughters of men. Led by a powerful figure named Semyaza, they gathered on the summit of Mount Hermon, a name which itself means curse, to swear a binding oath. This was their pact, to defy divine law, descend together, and each take human wives. They were not fallen in the traditional sense of being cast out. They were defectors. They chose to abandon their heavenly post, driven by motives the holy texts had never dared to explore. But their transgression went far beyond forbidden unions. This was the great crime against heaven. The Watchers, each according to their specific knowledge, began to teach humanity forbidden secrets. A second in command, an angel named Azazel, is credited with teaching men the art of war, how to forge swords, craft shields, and make breastplates. He taught women the deceptive arts of cosmetics and ornamentation. Other Watchers revealed the secrets of sorcery, root cuttings, astrology, and the reading of the constellations. The ethical implications were catastrophic. They weren't just sharing knowledge. They were arming a primitive species with the tools of its own destruction and vanity. To the author of Enoch, human advancement wasn't a slow, natural evolution. It was a corrupting, high-tech data dump from a rogue celestial source, a gift that came at an unbearable price. The offspring of this forbidden union were the Nephilim, a name often translated as the Fallen Ones. While modern Sunday schools might portray them as vaguely large men or heroic figures, the Book of Enoch paints a far more terrifying picture. It describes them not merely as giants, but as massive, insatiable titans. According to some interpretations of the text, their stature was said to be an impossible 300 cubits, a height that would dwarf our tallest skyscrapers. This has led many scholars to suggest the number is either a symbolic exaggeration meant to convey their overwhelming power, or perhaps a scribal error for a more plausible, yet still terrifying, 30 cubits. This incredible size came with an equally incredible appetite. The text details a horrifying progression of famine. First, the Nephilim consumed all the food produced by humanity, every grain, every animal, every fruit. When the world's larders were empty, their hunger turned monstrous. They began to devour the very humans who had sustained them. The horror didn't stop there. In a final desperate act of self-consumption, they turned on each other, and the world was plunged into a terrifying cycle of cannibalism. This narrative of giant cannibals isn't unique to Enoch. Echoes of it can be found in the folklore of cultures across the globe, from the Siteka of Native American Paiute tradition to the Titans of Greek mythology, suggesting a deep-seated, ancient fear. The earth itself could not bear the weight of this corruption. Enoch says the very ground cried out to heaven, stained with the blood of the innocent and the guilty alike. This single, powerful detail provides a profound context for the Great Flood, a why that the book of Genesis largely omits. In this interpretation, the flood wasn't simply a punishment for human sin. It was a desperate act of cosmic cleansing, a necessary biological reset to surgically remove a parasitic hybrid species that was quite literally eating the world and threatening to unravel the fabric of creation itself. Enoch is the only human in history to be taken by God without dying. But the book describes how. The chariots. He describes being carried away in winds and clouds to a place made of crystal and tongues of fire. The geography. He is shown the ends of the earth, the portals of the sun, and the prisons of the stars. The 2026 perspective. Modern researchers point out that Enoch's descriptions of Earth from above, seeing the curvature of the planet and the mechanics of the heavens, read less like poetry and more like a primitive man trying to describe a journey through space. If the book was so popular, why was it banned? The controversy. The early church fathers, particularly St. Augustine, hated the idea that angels could have physical lust or bodies. It made the divine seem too human and messy. The authority. The Book of Enoch also gives immense power to the Son of Man and individual revelation. For a church trying to centralize power and simplify doctrine, a book about 200 named demons and space-traveling prophets was simply too much chaos to control. By the 4th century, it was purged from the Western Bible. The Book of Enoch concludes with a warning. These events will repeat in the final generation. Whether you see it as a lost historical record, a psychedelic vision, or a spiritual warning, the Book of Enoch changes the way we look at our origins. The question: if the Watchers returned today, would we see them as angels or would we call them aliens? Tell me your theory in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into forbidden history. I'll see you in the next one.